You know who it is. You know what it is. It's yours truly. It's Bernie the Boxer. I say, did you miss me? Come on now. Yeah, it's $2 Tuesday, man. And it's as always, it's a lot going on in the boxing world, and it's a lot being said. And this is my take on the things that's been going on in the boxing world. Okay, like I said, come on, man. It's yours truly. It's Bernie the Boxer. All right, man. So yep. It's been a lot going on in the boxing world. I don't know where to go. You know what I'm saying? Where to start with, because I'm always, how I'm coming, like this happened, that happened, yesterday's news, today's news, this, that, how it jumped, flip back and forth. But I'm going to start off like this, I'm going to start off with this one right here. I'm going to start with the most recent joint, which was Lubin versus Virgil Ortiz, and man, I expected a better fight out of that. I did. I expected a better fight out of that. And man, my heart goes out with Lubin. Appreciate you, TJ. Jersey, you know what I'm saying? I did. You know what I'm saying? I felt really bad for Lubin in a sense that, his health is seemed to me to be at risk right now. With a boxer, taking these kind of punches and, later on the after effects, so I'm kind of worried about Lubin on that. I seen him made a post and about him being a prisoner of his own bad habits or whatever. And, I just want to, at this point, at this stage, and the veteranism that he's had, the big fights that he's been in and the stages that he's been on and the experience that he has, it shouldn't be no more bad habits that are in the way of such a life-changing fight as this was, a magnitude of this fight was. If you're not critiquing your bad habits at this level, then something's, you might hit a brick wall. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know exactly what he meant by his bad habits. I seen him say he was going to 160. And maybe I don't know what he could have meant by that. I don't know what he meant by a prisoner of his own bad habits. But again, like I'm saying, coming with his career has been topsy-turvy. And he's had a wonderful career, and I'm speaking from a sense of myself who only had 3 fights, and somewhat gave up on himself. And didn't pursue or keep going for whatever reason, he had a wonderful career. He fought for the world title. He had a lot of ambition. He's fought big stage fights. He had some good wins, and he put up some brave performances, and he's had a boxing career, so shout out to Lubin on that aspect. But what I'm saying is this, if, I didn't understand what he was saying. Kevin Jones, appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? Via cash. Yeah, one of my long time, you know what I'm saying? Staying with the kid. You hear me? Come on. But like I said, him being a prisoner of his own bad habits, man, come on, baby. We got this. We can't afford to do that. We can't afford to do that when we're trying to get that coveted title around our waist. When we're trying to keep big paydays in our pocket. And I think that's with the fans that's rocking with him. I feel like that's disrespectful to your fans. Because you're not just fighting for you fighting for them. They're rooting for you, they're cheering you on, and it's not just it's because they believe in you. And when you are doing things that are not coincided with greatness or with a winning mentality, whatever that is, you kind of letting them down, along with yourself. You're really letting yourself down, but you're letting your fans down too. So, I don't know what he meant by that, but best of wishes for him. But like I say, those shots that he's taking right now, the way he took that shot and the way he was out on his feet, man, that was a deadly blow. I didn't expect that from him. The way he came out, I was kind of, I don't know why he went to the ropes a little at first. I don't know why he didn't step around. I was wondering he should have just kept least just a little bit more and just stepping. You ain't got to get on your bike, just stepping and blocking, parrying, because Virgil Ortiz is a slow starter. He's not a fast starter. So so in that sense, but it is what it is. Everybody got a plan until they get a hit, like the great Mike Tyson said. And I don't know what it was that made him go back to the ropes and hold his hands up without blocking, without slipping, without catching, without tying up. And it proved fatal. That mistake proved fatal. And, you know what I'm saying, he got stopped. So shout out to Lubin, shout out to Virgil Ortiz for doing his thing. He didn't do nothing but get in the ring and do what he was supposed to do. You know, he got the big fight going up with Boots. And man, the thing with Boots too though, I'm glad that he's saying more, you know what I mean? I guess, you know, but that's not his style. You could see they was pressuring him to do these type of things, but that's not his style, you know. He's a Philadelphia fighter, and Philadelphia fighters, they just warriors, you know. They fight. Come on, guys, let's knock it off in the comments. Come on now. Let's knock it off in the comments. Let's be positive. You know what I'm saying? It's Veterans Day. Salute to all the veterans. Shout out to my boy Steven So Cold Nelson, military hero, boxing champ. You know what I'm saying? All around guy, Mr. Do It All. Shout out to him. Shout out to all the veterans, you know, that put their life on the line, not only just to make this country great, but make themselves great. You know, the military offer a lot of benefits, and sometimes there's no other place to go or no other better place to go for oneself. And the military has produced a lot of great individuals and gave them a lot of opportunities and put them in a position to where they can feed their families forever and make better lives out of themselves. So shout out to all the veterans, you know, in the street, in the army, in the military service, and in the street. I can't forget my street veterans. I will never forget my street veterans. You understand? Because when you out here, it's a war zone, and taking a chance, you know what I'm saying? You got to commend those guys, you know? So shout out to all my veterans. Okay. But anyway, like I'm saying, you know, so Boots, you know what I mean, getting out of his comfort zone, fighting, you know what I'm saying, talking stuff with old boy. That's going to be a good fight. You know, and it's kind of remind me of the old days, you know, because, you know, you fighting guys like this before you even, well, Boots was the champion. So he got his, you know what I mean? He can rest now. He can cool now. He got the Ring magazine on his mantle. You know what I'm saying? He got the WBA, he got the IBF. You know what I mean? He chilling right now. You know what I'm saying? He can chill in that sense, knowing that I was a world champion. He accomplished every boxer's goal. Mostly their goal is to be a world champion. So shout out to Boots on that aspect. But like I'm saying, still he has things to go. You know, it's still questions to be answered. It's still attributes to be made. It's accomplishments to be made, accolades to be had, and so you know what I'm saying. Hey, it still could, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, he's fighting Virgil Ortiz. That I can't wait for that fight to happen. And like I say, it's a toss-up fight because, like I say, Virgil Ortiz, he's fighting. You know, he's fought former champs. He's fought contenders. He's had a tough road. They put him in great positions, you know what I'm saying, to better hone his skills and get ready for this big stage. So now fighting Boots Ennis, you know, which no easy task, and not for the world championship. You know what I'm saying? They're not shout out to Robert Garcia, because like I'm saying, you know, with his influence and with Golden Boy's influence, you know, they probably could have finessed him into a championship fight. But, you know, whatever it is, they're keeping him on a tough road, giving him a solid path, you know, to not only be a champion, but to stay a champion. So shout out to those guys, you know what I'm saying, for believing in him. And shout out to him for, you know what I'm saying, not taking the so-called easy road. But like I'm saying, so this is going to be a hell of a fight. You know, the styles contrast. And, you know, one thing about, you know, Boots Ennis is he got a plethora of skills, you know, a array of different things and he can do. But in the Meldrick Taylor mode, he's a Philadelphia fighter and he's going to fight. You know what I'm saying? He don't know how to play it safe. I don't believe he knows how to play it safe. That's just not in his DNA, you know? So, man, you know, in Virgil Ortiz, he's coming, he's bringing that drama with him. And so that's going to be a hell of a fight. And it's a championship level fight, but it's not for the title. So like I said, it reminds me of the old days because, you know, I was thinking, you know, just quick off the top of my head, you know, like Willie Pep, you know, he had over 50 fights, 60 fights before he ever got a shot at the championship. You know what I'm saying? And even Sugar Ray Robinson had to wait 5 years, you know, to get to the shot at the title. Archie Moore had to wait, I don't know, man, damn near 20 years to get a shot at the title. You know, he didn't get a shot at the title until he was 38 years old and boxed professional from maybe 17, you know. So, man, you know, so to go through that. But, you know, boxing is, you know, you want the championship, but like I said, to have the career, you know, you want the journey, you know, they say fall in love with the journey, you know, And these guys are definitely on a journey. They are making their they are getting the experience they need. And they live in a boxing life. And for some, a career, other career, whether you want to be a computer programmer, whether you want to work in a factory, whether you want to be a business owner, all those things can wait, because boxing is, a time of the essence type of thing. And, you got to get in when you're young and spry, you know what I'm saying? And so shout out to all the fighters in the world. It's not easy task getting up in that ring, not going every day, training. My partner, shout out to my people, man. I love my guys, all my friends, my family, to support me in everything I'm doing. And there's always been supportive of me. But I was talking to my partner Doe yesterday, and he said, Bernie, shit, nigga, you have to lead the set to go train. That means something. You had to lead the fun to go train. That's discipline. You know what I mean? So anyway, I can inspire, like I say, boxers, they inspire to do that, to separate yourself from the pack, to have a goal, and to to climb up in that ring, you know what I'm saying, and give it your best. Is no easy task. So shout out to all the fighters, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to the veterans, you know what I mean? Shout out to all the old champions, the new champions, you understand, the contenders, you hear me? Shout out to my boys over there in England. You hear me? Team Crawford over there getting Eubank ready for another win. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the side we own. You hear me? We won last time. We going to go up. You know what I'm saying? They got the, you know what I mean? They got the best in the world over there working with them with Red Spikes, East South Diego's, and of course, Bo Mac, you understand, the best in the world. So shout out to all them guys over there, man. I'm missing you guys, but man, I'm so proud of you guys. I had another partner call me and tell me, he said, Bernie, you living, living in your dream. And I think those guys are too. They wonderful students of the game. They're lovers of boxing, and when you take on a task for that short time or however it is, you're family for life with these guys, because they're not doing it for a check, they're doing it for the love, you know what I mean? And you can't ask for a better crew than that does it for the love. You hear me? So shout out to all Team Crawford over there doing they dang. All right. Appreciate everybody in the chat. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys. Where would I be without y'all? You know what I'm saying? Don't forget me. You know what I mean? I just don't like to come on. I'm going to say it again, just like Russell Simmons. Thank God for coming out, and good bless you. Good night. But I'm going to tell you just like this. You hear me? I don't just want to come on just to say anything and everything. You know what I mean? So I just let it kind of go. But you know what I'm saying? I'm always in the background. You hear me? Okay. Like I said, you see us over in Colombia. Shout out to Bud Crawford, 3-time undisputed champion. Only fella to do that. Probably ain't gonna be done no more. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the kid. We went over there in Colombia, man. Had a ball over there. They treated us like gods. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Paco. Shout out to Gustavo. You feel me? The new president and the old guard. You know what I mean? WBO, like I say, they the newest of the sanctioning bodies, but they get it right. They treat their champions like champions. You know what I'm saying? They make you feel welcome. They roll out the red carpet for you. You know what I'm saying? And I can't thank the WBO enough. You know what I'm saying? I've seen the way they treated Crawford. I've been personal, you know what I'm saying, experience their kindness and gratefulness, you know what I'm saying, and hospitality, you know what I'm saying, should I say. So shout out to the WBO. We had a ball over there, you know what I'm saying, went to the streets of Colombia, like I said, and Crawford was a big hit, you know what I mean. I'm trying to tell you, Crawford was a big hit. They told me this, now I ain't making this up, somebody told me, say Mayweather was over there. Shout out to Floyd. Mayweather was over there. Man, nobody know Mayweather's. Nobody know Mayweather's, man. Everywhere we went, we get up, go for a walk after breakfast. We walking down the streets. They know Crawford. Did you see the blog? Go watch the blog. If you have a chance, go watch the Bud Crawford. Go to his YouTube channel. Shout out to my boy Matt Bills, the shooter. You know what I mean? The blog was amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we had a great time. But like I said, we walking down the street. They know Crawford. They running, chasing Crawford down. They see him 30, 40 feet away. They know they spot Crawford from over there. They running, you know what I'm saying, taking pictures and, bamming on windows and just watching the kids, in amazement, which is, I can't blame them, you know what I'm saying? Because you're watching a living legend, you know what I'm saying? You're watching a living legend. You're to be with a living legend, a person that, just like Muhammad Ali, you know what I'm saying, walks among the people, shake hands, kiss babies, you know what I'm saying? And to shake the hand that shook the hand of Bud Crawford. You hear me? So shout out to the champ. You know what I mean? Went over there, got the new title. They gave new WBO belt. You know what I'm saying? Chunky undisputed. Oh, man. Rolled out the red carpet, fed us good. Oh man, shout out to man, they WBO, man, they all that, man. So shout out to them. Like I said, we had a great time. Shout out to my boy Ivan, an all-star boxing promotion who also does everything in boxing, promotes fights, does security. And he was a great tour guide for us, a great interpreter. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my girl Julie Gold Sticker. You know what I'm saying? The best publicist in the game. You know what I mean? Had a wonderful time spending time with them. Again, Matt Billy. You know what I'm saying? Just getting better and better at his craft, if I can say that. He's really turning up, really becoming somebody far as the photography and discography and whatever we want to call it with that camera. He's a bad boy with that camera. So if you've seen his editing skills, if you've seen all the stuff that he's doing, shout out to my boy Matt Billy. Okay, damn, why that though? Why this guy doing this? It don't make no sense, bro. You put niggers for what? This is insane. Hey, listen. At the same time, this channel ain't for that. You know what I'm saying? So please, if you don't want to be right or act right or have a good time, then please log off of this channel. You know what I'm saying? Because this here is not a hate channel. This is a love channel. You know what I mean? And I like I say, if y'all want to fight and argue in the comment, go fight on somewhere else, not on this. You hear me? Okay. But anyway, we ain't gonna let nothing stop us. Like I say, it's Veterans Day. It's $2 Tuesday. You got the kid with you, yours truly, Bernie the Boxer, and we gonna talk some boxing. All right. So dig this. Okay, so you know what I'm saying. We also got a hell of a card coming up. But this, hold up. I want to talk about the Tank Jake Paul thing. Come on, bruh. Come on, man. Now listen, man. Even your so-called detractors are the people that you might have rubbed wrong a little bit, which is me. I still want to see. I hate that you went out like that. I hate it. I hate that he went out like that. You know what I'm saying? And something's wrong with that guy. I was watching Gucci on. They talk about mental health, and they were talking about it again today. And something's wrong with that guy. Something's really wrong with that guy. It got to be. You know what I mean? How can I say this? Now look, everybody done crashed out over abroad. Man, them women is tough. Come on, man. I ain't no different. Ain't no man no different, man. I done heard all the songs they done crying over these girls. I done been experienced of just, man, can't eat, can't sleep, can't think. You know what I'm saying? Everything else you can think about a girl. But at the same time, I didn't have, or a lot of these guys, which in money ain't everything, but you don't have the things at your disposal to somewhat try to offset those feelings. You understand? You don't have the celebrity to upset those feelings, and then I want to say this too, though. Look, first of all, if you getting down and running around or whatever else you doing, you got to accept that to come back. They only gonna take so much from you. You understand? Ain't no way you gonna with it. I don't know what I'm just talking broadly. If you a fella of any kind, any background, any financial situation, social status, any of those things. But if you have a woman that you are intimately dealing with, whether it be your love of your life, your baby mama, whatever it is, and you call yourself being a player, running around, doing this, doing that with other women don't like that. Now they will accept this shit for a little bit, but they ain't gonna like that. And they want to get their get back. So you got to expect that. When I say this was good for the goose is good for the gander, that's just it. Now, if that's just it. So now, if you're going to play, you got to play. Now, look, like I say, okay, it still hurt. No matter what, if you run around, no man want his woman run around no matter what he do. We feel like we can do everything and she can't do shit, which that's just the way we think. Now, if she do, we have to put things in the context. And I'm saying it like this. Okay, at the same time, okay, I'm not going to jeopardize 30 million. I'm not going to jeopardize 30 million or more my reputation, which is why they canceled the fight. Because like I said, Netflix, I don't know why they worrying about a man's personal life. Fuck with we here watching fight now. But the way things is now, he ain't endorsing shit because Netflix gonna keep going. So he's not endorsing Netflix. But I was saying this. Okay, look, man, come on now. When the girl run around on me, I'd have nothing. You know, usually they wait for you to hit that slippery slope, you know, hit that fall, and then they bring up all the shit you did to them. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Nigga, you ain't got it no more. Ain't nobody fucking with you. You ain't balling. You ain't this. And she on to the next. You know what I mean? Or whatever. Get her, get back, blah, blah, blah. But he got it. And throw it away in the come on, bruh. Now listen, like I'm saying, somebody told me like this: I'd rather cry in a Mercedes than on a bicycle. Come on, huh? I'd rather cry in a Mercedes than on a bicycle. Shh, Jesus, I got crease in my eye. Always bother me. So, like I said, you know, I mean, just a straight idiot. You know, just a straight idiot, bro. And all the shit he do, just disrespecting the whole sport, like he's somebody like that. You know, that's when celebrity or fame or so-called power go to your head. You seen the way he treats the whole everything. Listen, this is a business. This is an engagement. If you're gonna be in the industry of boxing or celebrity, you have to meet the deadlines. You're promoting the fight. You're not showing up to the deadlines or to the promotional thing. Come on, bro. That's just weak as fuck to me. That's just so weak as fuck to me and just trash. You know what I mean? You got to meet your obligations. That's business. Be a grown man, fella. You know what I'm saying? You claim to come from such an impoverished background. You know, I believe you got good mentors. You just a dummy. You know, you just a cold fool. That's just it. Tank Davis is just a cold fool. You know what I mean? No matter how much fly shit he got, no matter how good he can fight, he just a cold fool. That's it. You know, he just a fool. That's it. FOOL. Just a cold fool, you know. And, you know, he really disrespects everybody around him, his family, his children, Coach Calvin, Coach Kenny. You know, this whole city, he just lets them down at every turn, it seems like. And everybody's rooting for you. You know, everybody, it's more people that you think, hey, no, more people love you. Come on. You see the crowds he was bringing out. You see the machine that was pushing him. Come on now. Listen, come on. And ain't everybody go through something. Everybody got a problem. Everybody ain't everybody loved. Ain't everybody liked. Ain't everybody getting put in position. It's always something with every single person. Not one person. That's what motherfuckers need to fail to realize. Not one person. I don't care who they is. Who you thought they was. Somebody was trying to keep them down. Somebody didn't like them. Something. Nobody's going to be 100% on your side. You understand? But listen, you got to keep with yourself. So he just let the whole community down. He just let everybody down in and out the ring. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like I say, with guys like that, guys would kill for your position. Guys would, you know, give they left leg for to have your talent, you know, to have your talent, to have the ability to knock somebody out, you know, with one punch, to all those things that you got, bro. And you just throw it away, like just take everything for granted. And now look at you, you know. Now look at you. You know, you was a big hater of Crawford. You talking about this and talking about that, and now look at you. You understand? Look, that's like I say, the same people you pass on your way up gonna be the same people you pass on your way down. So, you know, like he said, easy, Bernie, he a buster, cold buster. And on top of that, just make everything look worse. Wearing purses, dancing in your panties, and all the gay ass shit you be doing, bro. Just sad and pathetic and a waste of talent. They said the worst thing in life is saddest thing in life is wasted talent. Just wasted talent. All right. Okay, so but anyway, all right. So getting back to positive shit, getting back to other news. You know what I'm saying? We got the big fight coming up on 22nd. What is that? Right before Thanksgiving. Man, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for holiday, that shit we be watching. Not no damn football. I want to watch all them fights. What we got? Man, we got Saudi. Man, I seen this t-shirt. And they had man, it was old time fighters. It was a fight card, and the fights. This it remind me of that. Man, they had everybody. Barrera. I mean, with so many guys on this card that you wouldn't believe in modern day times. But on the 22nd, You getting just that, a throwback card. You know what I'm saying? You got Benavidez going up against Yardy, you know, in his trek to try to become undisputed champion or a light heavyweight champion, because he's not light heavyweight champion now. B-Ball is the undisputed champion. Anything less is uncivilized. Anything less is uncivilized, and any real champion should understand that. Any real champion should understand that. I don't give a damn. Just like when Joe Louis was in the war, when all the champions was in the war, the title was froze. The title was froze. We had an interim champ called Jimmy Bivens was the heavyweight champ, was the interim champion. They called him interim champ. That's in the interim time, in the middle of the time. That don't make you the world champ, okay? You just a stand-in. You hear me? Okay, but you're not the champ. So like I say, Benavidez is not the champ or the WBO or the WBC. He's not the champ. But anyway, he's fighting a good fight against Yardy, who's a tough veteran, you know what I'm saying, in a fight to try to pursue a battle with the undisputed champ when he get better, or the former undisputed champ, Better Beef. However, I don't know if Better Be even fighting on this card too. I think he was. I'm not making sure, but it's a stat card. Of course, you got Bam Rodriguez going up, fighting a unification fight against Martinez. You got Abdullah Mason making his claim, you know what I'm saying, fighting for the world title, you know what I'm saying, and this kid, his journey's been so good, you know, he's impressed at every time, you know what I'm saying. He's been knocked down, he's then came back, he's put on brilliant performances. He looks like the real deal, he seems like the real deal. He got a great team with him, you know what I'm saying, got his father. They seem so spiritually connected that I can see them going, you know, sky's the limit for this kid. You know, he handles himself well. And did you see what he said? I ain't got no friends in this shit. I ain't trying to be no friends with nobody. I'm fighting them all. and I feel him. He got a chip on his shoulder, you know? So shout out to Abdullah Mason going up against this guy, Noakes. I watched Noakes, and Noakes, of course, he's a European guy, but he's a rough, tough customer. You know, I think he's undefeated, and you know, so it's not no gimme. You know what I'm saying? So he's fighting for the title, you know, and like I say, this guy, he's been matched pretty good, and he's shown, you know, he looks like the part, you know, he is no struggle, is no, you know what I'm saying? Even when he was knocked down, he came back, knocked that guy out the second round, you know, he got buzzed, you know, he got the heart and the guts and the talent to go along with it. So, you know, once he gets that strap around his waist, you know, it's open season for everybody, you know, and some great champions down there. You know, you got Shakur Stevenson still holding the lightweight championship, WBC, the WB, I forgot who was the damn champions at lightweight for real. Oh, you got Andy Cruz going up against this other fella, Raymond Mortai, got the IBF. The WBA champion is, I can't remember right now. But anyway, once you get that strap, it's open season. And I don't think they're going to put the reins on this kid. You know what I'm saying? I think they're going to let him go. And shout out to Whitey say the kid. He said he got the spirit of Sugar Ray Leonard. Yeah. School of Skills. Appreciate you. What's goody? EZU. All right. Before you catch a hat, come on, boy, stop it. You already know what it is for me. Vietnam vet, Lothar Block vet, Flatland vet. You hear me? Come on, boy. All right, you like my hat? Appreciate you. All right. Mill City. Oh, Tank got the WBA. Thank you, Mill. Appreciate you. I forget him. See what I'm saying? Buddy, I don't even know. He got the WBA. You're right. They upgraded him. WBA. Who was champ before that? Devin? Was Devin undisputed champ? Yeah, he gave up all the titles. Okay. So anyway, then we got Devin going against Brian Norman, which I think is the most anticipated fight on the card. The most anticipated fight on the card. You know what I'm saying? You know, Devin is definitely, you know, I wouldn't say controversial, but you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's a lot going on since Devin. You know, ever since Devin, you know, his ever since he got awarded the WBA title, they call him WBC title, and they called him email champ. You know what I'm saying? That's where that shit came from for real. They wasn't even calling him that before that, but they gave Devin the email champ. You know what I mean? And but he's definitely steady fighting. You know, he's getting knocked down, but he gets up. You know, he's fighting a tough competitor in Brian Norman, who's like I say, the same thing, you know, not easily impressive at first, you know, got off to some slow starts fighting, excuse me, fighting, who's not Quentin Randall, man, who's not an easy fighter to look good against, but he came through, won the fight, got the job done, got his hand raised, and then he fought Boca Chica, got dropped nasty with the counter straight right or whatever it was, left nasty. Oh my God, Boca Chica put him on his ass, didn't he? Ooh wee. Came back. Can't remember if he stopped him, but I know he ended up winning the fight. Shout out to Brian Norman. Then he went to go ahead and, like I say, Crawford gave up the championship, and then boom, boy, Crawford went to motherfucking Mars on their ass. Boy, he went from undisputed. He went anyway. So Crawford give up the title, give up all his titles. He inherits the title. You know what I'm saying? Gets the interim upgraded from interim champion to true champion, and he's defended his title a couple times. And they say you ain't no true world champ till you defend the title. So shout out to Brian Norman. He is the WBO world's welterweight champion. You know what I'm saying? From Georgia. Shout out to both of them guys, senior and junior. Okay, so but anyway, he's fighting a guy. And Devin Haney, with a huge profile. As the aforementioned, undisputed champion at lightweight, WBC champion at 140, going for his third championship. And like I say, with a ton of experience, whether you like him or not, he's been through the fire, he's been through the ringer, just from going from, like I say, being called the email champ, fighting those guys, fighting Fade Gamboa, fighting, any of those guys that he fought, was it Devin, Jojo Diaz, who's a world champion and Olympian, so Devin, he started young though. He turned pro early. He didn't go to the Olympics. He was a top amateur, but he was fighting babies then. He's 17. He's fighting kids then. So he's had to acclimate to the pros, fight grown men. You know what I'm saying? He went through all these different things that it takes to be a boxer. Draining himself from the weight. Going in and out of town and different to enemy backyards. And so he's a world traveler now, and 28 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And like I say, a veteran, shout out to all the veterans, so like I say, went through it with Lomachenko, in a very educational fight. I didn't think he won the fight, but it's a very educational fight. You're fighting a guy, a supreme talent like Lomachenko, and you still stayed the course. You had a game plan and you followed it. You landed great shots to the body. And like I said, you never gave up. He never gave up in that fight. He got stunned, he got wobbled. You know what I'm saying? He was like, he thought he seen the ghost in there, Tasmanian devil in that motherfucker. He didn't know where he was getting hit from. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't never quit. So you can't never question Devin's heart. Shout out to Devin. Shout out to Bill. You know what I mean? So but like I say, they going up on the 22nd. I think that's the most anticipated fight on the whole card, even though you got Benavidez up there. You got Bam Rodriguez, who is a pound for pound talent and could be number one soon. Who else we got on there? I forgot. Then you got Abdullah Mason, who at the same time might be vying for that position too. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he's only getting better and better. And so, like I say, but you got a hell of a card on the 22nd, man. That's a fight card. If you in boxing, that's a card that you're gonna love. Then it's like Sunday football with the greatest teams playing. So you can't knock that card. It's a beautiful card. Shout out to Turkey Al Sheik for stepping in and making a way for these guys, putting them on a big platform, putting some money in their pocket, and actually putting them in positions to be great, because he's not letting these guys take no easy fights. So he's putting these guys in tough fights. He's taking the training wheels off these guys and making sure that, that they do right by themselves. So shout out. And he's giving them a great incentive with the paycheck. Like I say, I understand. I YK the truth. I did say I know, but Bam, we understand that. I know Bam is ultra talented, and I'm not saying that he's like I'm saying, it's a great card. Every fight is anticipated, but I said the most anticipated is Devin versus Brian Norman. If I'm lying, I'm dying. Oh man, if I'm lying, I'm dying. The line gonna be crazy on that. I'm calling the 50-50 fight. I'm calling the 50-50 fight because Devin do got the experience. And like I say, you never know what a fighter gonna do until he go through it. You know what I'm saying? And he's not fighting an average champion. And Devin, I think Devin is a little bit above average, And so, like I say, with the experience that this kid has had, with the growth he's had, from, like I say, becoming a baby, starting out as a baby, going over to Mexico, building his record, with the experience that he's had, being with Floyd Sr., being with, everywhere he's been, being mentored by Bud in some aspects, man, and dealing with the adversity, the Ryan Garcia situation, the social media that constantly bombards him. You know what I mean? Just to dealing with all those things, makes him a stronger fighter. And so, like I told him, I had a chance to talk with his manager. We was out in Colombia, and I said, listen, one thing that Brian Norman can't do is get overconfident. One thing, I think he's a better fighter than Ryan Garcia, but one thing he cannot do is get overconfident, because to say that Devin can't hurt you, don't ever believe that. He looked tremendous. Devin Haney looked tremendous. He looks like an action figure. That man been working his ass off. That man, he looked like a man. I'm telling you, that man, he in tremendous shape. He in tremendous shape. And like I say, what a good thing I think that he did is he brought back Mickey Bay, former lightweight champion, former U.S. Olympian. He brought back Mickey Bay, you know what I'm saying, in his corner. Mickey Bay, like I said, he was a national champion as a runner-up. He had his same type of, things that he's been through in his boxing career, and I think he's a lover of boxing too. I think he got a good heart, you know what I mean? And he's in it for the love of the game. And so having a guy like Mickey Bay in his corner can't hurt, you know what I mean? So both guys, they got good guys with him. Brian Norman got his dad with him, and their experience is not as much, but Brian Norman has a punch. He has a will to win, and he has a great confidence in himself. He has a great confidence in himself. And so I don't know who they could bring in. Maybe they bring somebody else in later on, to give him go to another level if that's possible. But right now, he's been done a great job. His dad been doing a great job with him. He's been doing a great job. He's, like I say, getting better and better as time has passed. They put him over there in Japan, in enemy territory, in different time zone, different food, everything else you could think about, long flight. You know what I mean? And he came through. Shout out to my boy Chris Legg. So like I say, I think that's the most anticipated fight. And shout out to both of them guys. I can't wait. May the best man win. You hear me? Okay. But I want to say this too. Hold up. So then going back to Boots and Virgil. Okay, so now the 54-pound division is stacked. All right. So now these guys, like I say, you got Fedora as the unified champ. You got Murzalov as the IBF champ. Okay. So you got 3 portions of the title. Now you got the other kid, the African kid that got upgraded. So I'm not going to be upset if the winner of Virgil Ortiz and Boots Ennis fights a brass. I'm not going to, I would, if I was a manager, that's the route I would go. I wouldn't stick these guys in there with the IBF champ, Murzalov or Fedora just yet. I wouldn't. It's a stacked division. It's a great division right now. It's one of the most slept on divisions. You feel me? It's a deep division. And if I'm with these guys and I'm managing these guys, whoever comes out on top in this fight deserves a shot at a brass, who I think is the weaker champion, but I haven't watched them, but I feel like, the dark horse, I ain't knocking the dark horse. If he come back and win them guys, then he's just in a position to fight. If I'm him, if a brass end up getting those fights, the winner out of Virgil Ortiz or Boots, and he wins, then if I'm managing him, I'm shooting him against any one of those other guys, Murzalov or Fedora, so we need another undisputed champ at 54. But that's the route I would go. You know what I'm saying? If I'm a brass right now, I'm taking Jamel Charlo on. Ain't nothing else going on. I've been upgraded to champ. And you know what I'm saying? Before I fight a guy who nobody know, and I'm calling out these guys and I'm accept this guy, I'm fighting Charlo. If I'm Charlo, I'm shooting for a brass. I'm shooting for a brass because Charlo don't have nothing going on. He was the undisputed champion, so he got some type of claim to that. You know what I mean? If and Abrasi just upgraded to champion and nobody knows him, nothing that he did to really earn that shot. You know what I mean? So if I'm Charlo, I'm shooting for Abbas, because if I get the title, then I'm coming in as the champ and I'm fighting, Virgil Ortiz, which is or Boots Ennis, and they all big fights. You know what I'm saying? Murzalov is the boogeyman. You know what I mean? And you got Fedora, definitely, a proven champion to this point. So shout out to all them guys, and that's just the way I would go. All right. So before I go any further, let's go. Let's get to some comments. Let's get to some comments. DC Snipe, what's goody? Let's get to some comments. You understand? It's Veterans Day. It's $2 Tuesday, and they pouring in, and they didn't pour it in. Ron Sizzle says Bernie had hands when he boxed. Yes, I did. You heard Bud. He said you can't get away with the same thing with Bernie the Boxer twice. He great. You hear me? Go watch the blog. Like I say, go to the channel, go to the YouTube channel, go watch the blog. You know what I mean? Go watch the vlog or whatever you call it. Okay. Facts Over Feeling says, haven't seen, man, it got to be a Norman Pack. Okay. Jersey. Al Money, what's goody? YK the Truth says, I'm 40 and just want to learn to box. Is it too late to learn? Never. Huh? Never. Never too late. Time till you in that pine box, boy. Okay. It may be what do you say? Heaven sent. Facts Over Feelings. I may be a pack if I lose 5K. Oh, okay. So you're arguing. No arguing. Okay. March, we back. Okay, okay, let me see. I love big women. I probably had 150 fights before I was 16. It be like that in the amateurs. School of Skills. Shout out to my boy, Just a Guy. I ain't seen him in here, but I appreciate him. If you're doing anything, do me a favor. Keep the likes going up. I got 84 in here, but I got 48 likes. You understand? That's a combination. They call that combination when I'm reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. You hear me? And they said when they used to play the numbers, you know what I'm saying? They do the it's a combination. They switch the numbers around. Okay, now they got 49. Appreciate that like. You hear me? Okay. So what I got? Bomac told me he's stopping Conor Ben. I wouldn't put it past him. Remind me of OG Loke from GTA. Mill City Buck says, my boy Bernie Cookin. Shout out to my boy Mill City. You will catch me on with the kid in a short time. If not later today, tomorrow. Okay. School of Skills, you heard him. Hit the like. All right. I'm letting you guys know right now, Conor Ben getting stopped. Facts Over Feeling says, Lubin being KO'd by 2 people already and struggling against Ramos. Haney got to be on point. I agree. Capital Starver says, support, bro. Appreciate you. Chino Richardson, did you miss me? He says, Classy T says, interact more, Bernie. I'm trying. He said, what's your thoughts on Lester getting ducked? I don't know if Lester getting ducked. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna go with the rematch with what's the kid's name? Billy. You know, I think it's a fight that everybody want to see. I think it's the fight that the Sheik gonna pay for, and we gonna stop him. Okay, we gonna stop him. School of Skills says Bud versus Diamonds. Good fight. But listen, man. Listen, y'all got to let the kid rest. Let him be who he gonna be. Let them guys sort it out. Crawford on his victory tour, you know what I'm saying? And speaking of Crawford, just made me think. I want to dedicate this fight, this live to my boy Wayne Sullivan. You know what I'm saying? He's going through a tough time right now. So I want y'all to send y'all prayers up to the kid. He's a close ally. You know what I'm saying? With Crawford, you can always catch him. Crazy Wayne with the bow tie. You know what I'm saying? In the suspenders up there, right next to Crawford. Security, right hand man. One of them. You know what I'm saying? And so my prayers with him. Shout out to Wayne Sullivan, this is for you, baby. You know what I mean? So prayers for the kid, All right, but anyway, Classy T says you got to start dropping the link, Bernie, so we can chop it up with ya. Heaven since Bernie Islam, I don't know what he talking about. Mill City says Colombia is fine. We had a great time. Crawford was on TV in Colombia. Yeah, like I say. Man, you'll be surprised, man. Like I say, people say don't nobody know Crawford. Crawford ain't a draw, man. Crawford is the people's champion, man. For real, serious business, man. I was surprised that these people that knew Crawford, we just walking down the streets in the markets, you know what I mean? And people knowing Crawford, they just, Crawford, you know what I mean? So not just in the boxing realm, You know, it wasn't just that we was when we was at the WBO Convention Center. You know, we walk in the streets of Colombia, man, and they recognizing Crawford. Come on, shout out to Bud Crawford, man. Come on, propaganda at its finest, boy. He the man now. He the man now. So if y'all want to see, the kid in the ring one more time, you need 100 milli. We need 100 milli, no less. 99 and a half won't do. We need 100 mil. That's it, huh? Greatness at its finest. You hear me? Come on. Humility at its finest. Humbleability at its finest. You know, people's champ. Shake hands and kiss babies. Huh? Can't stop him. When you put him in the ring, he beats them down. Huh? No draws. You know, no close fights. No, you understand? When he whoops them, he whoops them. Shout out to Crawford, huh? When he beats him, he beats him. Okay. All right. Okay, man, this guy is just crazy. I'm telling you, people, the toughest guys behind this thing. You know, people, the toughest guys. Niger River is really pronounced like that, but that's not nigger. The nigger needs the double R. You understand? But look how we do. That we are the most copied community in the world, the most influential, going back to every civilization. You understand? Before the continent split, we went all over the world, and our influence is everywhere in this world, and everybody wants to have that tan. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to have that tan. You hear me? Everybody wants to have that tan. I'm reading the Malcolm X biography, like I say. Man, all right, just forget it. You know what it is, man. When you got that tan, you know you one of a kind. You hear me? You God's people, truly. You understand? Truly God's people. Now, not everyone, because it's your heart. You understand? But that's a great mark. You understand? When you got that tan, you hear me? And some of us just lost and don't understand our true calling and who we are. Okay. All right. He made Canelo lost. Yes. What's Box Center with Jay Smith says, what's good, Bernie? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate everybody in the chat. You understand? Box Center says, salute, family. Okay. You got to assign moderator so we can kick people like that off, Bernie. You know, baby girl, I'm in the kitchen with this shit still. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to go global with this shit. Shout out to my boy Matt Billy. You know what I'm saying? We gonna make this shit, you know what I'm saying, more professional. Like, you know what I mean? I do need to get a staff because, you know what I'm saying, I feel like my profile is up there. So, you know what I'm saying, I do need to get a staff. You know what I mean? I might need a consignment staff. They might take a percentage because I'm too broke to pay them. You know what I'm saying? I ain't that bad off, but I don't know about paying them. Maybe a little something. I'm working out. Okay. Appreciate you, though. It pissed off Canelo fans everywhere. Yeah, but Canelo was gracious. You know what I mean? Shout out to Canelo. Can't take nothing away from Canelo. You know what I mean? It is what it is. He done everything he could do. He done so much, you know what I'm saying, for the sport. You know, he, like I said, you can't take nothing away his growth. You've seen his growth in the boxing world. You know, he never backs down from a challenge. You know what I mean? And he got a lot of swag. Canelo earned everything he got. So I ain't taking nothing away from Canelo. You know, I can't take nothing away from him. And Crawford just a better fighter than him, you know what I mean? And showed that. Discernment says, hey, Bernie, I missed you, man. Glad to see you. Appreciate you, baby. It's good to be missed, okay? I told you it was Hernandez. He mad at Canelo. You helped Canelo lose. Bernie, they mad. Okay. True Hebrews, both sides of the Niger River. Yes, sir. Okay. Worst I lost in my life. He said, facts, the worst loss I had in my life was behind a woman. Uh-huh. Right to buy a new one. School of Skills. The changer, the pronunciation, and okay, we still talking about that? Okay, let me get up there. Bud Crawford beats no interest. Benavidez, Bernie the Boxer. I think we could beat Benavidez for real. When I got to thinking about that, I think we could beat Benavidez for real. Because, like I say, when you get in there, Crawford going to take a lot of that stuff that he do away. Crawford going to nullify all those things, but we're not worried about that right now. Benavidez has moved up. He's reaching for the stars for light heavyweight, and we're going to let him do that. No matter what he do, real spill. Okay. School of Skills. Bernie Lubin didn't look right. I don't want to say it was fixed. Nah. Lubin ain't that type of guy. See, listen, we ain't gonna say that. They try to say that too, that he threw the fight. I don't believe Lubin had that in him. I don't believe that's his character. No. The way Lubin carries himself and the way no. Lubin, you know what I'm saying? You never know how you're gonna get up when you get up them steps, and man, it was a huge fight. He had a lot on the line, a lot of internal pressure going on with that. So no, Lubin, I thought he had great confidence. You see him in the back. You seen him smiling. You seen him excited like he always is. And he's ready to fight. He's a true warrior. He just got caught. When he got hit, he went away. He was gone, bro. He was somewhere else. He was like, oh, my mama. And I'm not trying to be funny, but it's like the movie Ghost where he looking at himself. He was gone. I had missed that shot, and I was wondering. I thought they might have stopped it too early. I forgot what happened. I might have blinked or something. I didn't see it, but he was gone, bro. He was gone. He was not there no more. For a short second, he was not there. That's why the referee jumped in. So I'm not going to say that he was, no. That punch resistance might be getting less and less. Now, you got to understand that he's going through sparring sessions, too. So he's putting up with all this stuff in the sparring sessions, taking these headshots, putting his body through all this, pain and everything like that. And like I'm saying, come on, man, listen. So I don't want to say he took a dive. I don't want to say none of that, man. He just got caught. He was gone. The referee saved him, which was a good job. And like I say, we need to start worrying about his health. Before this guy goes back to fighting, he needs not only a psychological evaluation, but he needs a brain scan. He needs some type of help. He needs some type of evaluation. Let me say that. He needs an evaluation. Okay. Like I say, and a fighter, you've seen it. He say, don't stop this fight. Don't you stop this fight. If you stop this fight, we're never talking again, and it's on the guys around him to be more, help him with that. Because as human beings, our pride and our ego, especially as men, and not only men, we're talking about fighters. These guys doing this shit for, man, God, man, come on now. He didn't put it in his mind to be a champion. He didn't dedicate it so much to this. And taking a punch ain't going to stop this guy. That's why he keep fighting. The average guy get punched in the mouth. He ready to change everything. But these guys is warriors. They're champions. You know what I mean? And they ain't just gonna quit like that. So, you got to save him from himself. Shout out to Lubin, man. I hope the best for him. Nobody cared about that fight anyway. Don't know what he talking about. Yo, you the man, Bernie. We love your enthusiasm for boxing, my guy. Please tell Bud not to retire. He just made it international. The entire world watching. I won't say he just made it international, but it might be more. He might have gained more fans, or the machine might be more accepted of him. But that's not what he was in it for. His goal was to be a world champion. So everything he did that when he beat Ricky Burns. So everything else is just icing on the cake, All these flowers he should have been had, but they want to, for some odd reason, they thought somebody else deserved the mantle, but it is what it is. And God has his purpose. And in the end, the best ain't hard to spot, and the cream rises to the top. So shout out to Bud Crawford one more time. There's nothing else. Actually, you don't go nowhere else after Canelo Alvarez. You really don't go nowhere else. Like I say, unless it's the 100 milli. Unless it's the 100 milli. If they're going to give him the 100 mil and them guys are 60, there's some good fighters. Lara's still doing it at a high level. He's 40 years old. You know what I'm saying? The other kid, Janabek, he's, whatever he's doing. You know what I'm saying? Young, hard puncher, rangy type of guy. You got Adames, who's probably the most overlooked champion. You know what I mean? He's the most overlooked champion. Who got the WBO? Janabek got WBO and an IBF, I think. He got the WBA, Lara got the WBA, and he got WBC. Okay, so Janabek, they fight for 3 portions of the title. So Adames, you know what I mean? I don't know where he's gonna go, but maybe he fights Ramos and Shane Mosley Jr. winner. You know what I mean? Which is a good fight for him. So shout out to Adames. But you know what I'm saying? The middleweight division is a good division. It's a solid division. And like I say, if they come up with that 100 mil, boy, Crawford will do it. Crawford to do it. What better incentive to be undisputed and 100 million? And 100 million. Because the boy liked to fight now. Crawford liked to fight. That's what he liked to do. But he's smart. You know what I'm saying? He ain't just going to fight for nothing. You know what I mean? He liked to fight. But, you know, the price then went up. You know, they used to have this saying not too long ago. They say, yesterday's price ain't today's price. Yesterday was that price. Now it's 100 million. If you got 100 million, we're going up. We're going to, you like Superman. We turning from Clark Kent to Superman. We're jumping out of one uniform and putting the other one on, huh? Dun, 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 dun. Let's go, baby. Okay. All right. Stank needs a babysitter. Don't he? Don't he? Okay. He said that was a joke fight anyway. Definitely. I took 7 weight classes. This man 6'7", 6'2", 6'1", 6'3". I don't know. You 5'4", 135, which is your best fighting weight. Anything over that is okay. Chassis T says money only provides comfort, not connection. True story. Exactly. Now, like I'm saying, I dig that. I understand that. That's what I'm saying. Definitely. Money, you know, only provides comfort, not connection. And I understand that. But this is what I'm saying. With the money. Okay. I'd rather cry on a bicycle. In a Mercedes than on a bicycle. Man, come on. Man, come on. I can't just throw it all away because she quit me. Because she running around on me. I'ma cry. I might not eat. I might can't sleep. But come on, man. Who gonna love me better than me? Who gonna love you better than you? Now listen what I'm saying. You got to come up. You got to get better. That's the best way to kill them is success. Huh? Success. However you form it. Success. If she quit you, get you a better one. If she quit you, get you a better one. If he treat you bad and do you bad, get you a better one, sister. That's the best revenge and success. They want to see you go by the wayside. They want to see you boo-hooing and crying and not doing better. But that's what you got to do every time. You got to get better. That's what life about till you go to the grave. You got to get better. Huh? You got to keep fighting for something. I don't give a damn. You understand? Yeah, come on now. Now, like I say, sometimes it's a limit. When we talking about boxing, and I'm talking about that particular, now at least like I say, you know, sometimes you got to know when to call it quits, you know, but you can get better in something else. You know, you got to have other skills like a Roy Jones. You know, you can talk like an Andre Ward. You know what I mean? Paulie Malignaggi. You can get in different things and still keep going. You understand? Whatever that is. Okay, you might not have to be in that field because we're talking about your health. Now, your health is wealth, okay? You can't go nowhere crying and whining. Whether you're a fellow or a woman, you can't get nowhere crying. They gone. They didn't cross you. They didn't showed you who they was. You got to let them go. You understand? You keep going up. Now listen. The one thing you got to have in this world too, you got to have the Lord. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Huh? The all-seeing, the all-knowing, the mountain mover, the way maker. You got to have him. Now, when you get that connection, huh? Ain't no better connection than that. Huh? He will take you through everything. He will make you go up 10 times. He will make your enemies your footstool. I'm a living proof of that. Okay? Okay, so like I said, now, but money ain't a bad substitute for a lot of stuff. Money ain't a bad substitute for a lot of stuff now, okay? Money ain't a bad substitute for a lot of stuff. He said, I can buy me a friend. Huh? I can buy me a friend. Listen, you go out there, you do good for other people, it make you feel good. You gain allies, you gain companionship. Come on, man. Like I say, but listen, one thing you can't do is lay down. Steve Harvey said, if you in hell, why stop there? Okay, keep going. Okay, so like I said, but anyway, I'll say the kid, you know, it just don't make no sense. You know what I mean? And for anybody, whether you're man or woman, not to crash out, cry. I understand, but come on now. Like I say, we got, man, you was Tank Davis. You got people calling your name. You got 30 M's on the line. 30? Man, we talking about adding to the pot. Ain't got to look at price tag. Ain't got to worry about SNAP. Ain't got to worry about Section 8. Man, come on, bro. Listen, man. I'll get her back. I will get her back. Because beating her up in the club wasn't going to do nothing. Yeah, ruining your where you at now? Come on, bro. We got to stop that shit. Okay. All right, that's all I'm saying. I wouldn't see nobody go out like that. Just stupid. Feel me? All right, what he say? Talking. He says Bud look like he not retiring, no interest. I don't know. The kid love to fight. Okay, what's up, homie? Just a quick question for a survey. Can you tell me who Tupac Shakur and one fact about him? Just a quick question. A survey. Can you tell me who's come on, Tupac, one of the best guys, you know. One of my favorite songs is Thug Style. You know what I mean? If you ever heard Thug Style, you know, he said had a buck, no luck, had to move around a lot because my mom was stuck. I had family. Yeah. I had family. Yeah. Come on now. Straight balling with my homies car. Fact about Tupac. What can I say? What's a fact about him? A fact about Tupac. What was he born? June 16 or something? I don't know what day he was born. But he was a living legend and he's the greatest to ever live when you talk about that rap shit. So that's my fact on him. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Pac, man. Rest in peace, man. A brilliant human being and a great artist. You know, I think he was a brilliant mind. You know, gone too soon. You know, just like Martin Luther King, just like Malcolm X, just like Huey Newton, just like Medgar Evers. You know, and all the rest of the greats. You know what I mean? The veterans, rest in peace. Okay, here we go. School of Skill says Body Shop was going to drop fake Paul. I don't know. Bud might fight Jenna Peck, Den Adamas. Don't know. Tank is a buster. Yes, sir. All right. Facts, everyone has been through trouble one way or the other, or soon will. Yes, sir. Boots will smoke Bernie. I won't doubt he won't kick my ass. I wouldn't doubt that. That motherfucker 6 feet tall, 28 years old, and a world champion boxer. Got me beat by 20 years. Got me beat by about 40 pounds. And shit, I wouldn't doubt that he won't beat me. But I know a motherfucker that he can't beat. I know that who he can't beat. Okay. He says you can't get a blessing without suffering. Come on now. Hey, he'll take you through there. Abdullah Mason going up. Show is. B. Norman Haney. Good fight. Can't wait. Let's go, AB. Forgot he was on the card and others. I don't know who the fuck AB was. Bam Rodriguez going up. Show is. Love Bam. Bernie, where can we go to buy real memorabilia of Crawford? Bud is a superstar now. Well, you just understand that he's a superstar. You know, you can go to the website. They got the TBC website going up. You know, you get you a shirt. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what other things that they have off of there, but you definitely can, you know, have a piece of greatness by owning a Crawford shirt. So go to the website. It's up and running. You know what I mean? And Crawford, one thing he don't do is he's not really an autograph signer. And he said this because, you know, a lot of people, when they get down, you know, they sell it, you know, they use it and they make money off of it. And that's what it's about. So, you know, he's not an autographer. He's not going to sign nothing. So you got to keep this in mind. He's not going to sign anything. He'll take a million pictures with you, but he's not one for signing things. So, you know what I mean? Because he feels like you see everybody, you know, you got the auctions where everybody's selling the memorabilia for money. But I said it like this, you know, in my opinion, that don't really matter, because if you can help somebody, you know, just with your signature, you know, why not? You know what I mean? Who cares? You know, because all this shit is material. You know, the things that he has dear, you know, that probably nobody will never touch, you know, because Crawford, he ain't gonna sell shit. He just like that. I won't say he's a hoarder, but Crawford don't sell shit. You know what I'm saying? He don't give a damn. He just gets some new shit and put it on top of the shit. You know what I mean? So excuse my language. So, whether it's his robe, whether it's his trunks, whether it's his shoes, you guys will never see those type of things. You will never see those type of things that actually he was worn, that, you know what I mean? Unless it's in a museum or something, but nobody would actually own that to be able to sell it. So, but again, if you can sign a glove or anything, and somebody can make, so, hey, money is hard to come by, so if you can, so what? But the champ say what the champ say, and that's how he is, So, but if you got a chance to shake his hand, if you got a chance to take a picture with him, you know what I'm saying, then you immortalize, you don't get these chances, and Crawford is willing to take plenty of pictures. Shout out to Bud Crawford 1,000 times. He said, I'm going Rogue TV. The Brown Bomber is my favorite fighter of all time. Oh, I just got the new book. It ain't a new book, but it's called Joe Louis, My Life. And if you listen to me, anything like I say, that's what really got me into really like studying boxing was Joe Louis. My grandmother was a great fan of Joe Louis, as everybody was back in those times. And I just recently ordered that book, the Joe Louis, My Life, to bring back some nostalgia. I was in the 5th grade and I read that book, and like I say, it forever changed me. So the Great Brown Bomber, he said the Great Brown Bomber. Now that was a great fighter. You hear me? Okay. Bam be about that life. He moving like Ortiz. Can't say nothing about Bam. Beautiful. Will you be in camp with Shakur Stevenson for the TO? Now I talked to him the other day. He said that he was going to put me up, but I'm not sure. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's 50-50. I don't know if I get the call, I get the call, but I know definitely I'll be a great asset to his camp. Shout out to Shakur Stevenson. He is fighting Teofimo Lopez for the junior middleweight championship of the world, which is the champion of the world, the Ring Magazine and WBO. To add, a little cherry on top, you know what I'm saying? And that's going to be a hell of a fight. Two young guys, I think they 28 years old, in the prime. T.O. might have hit his peak. I'm wondering, but, we got Shakur Stevenson, still got a couple things to accomplish, still more accolades, still more glory to get. And I think it's a great fight, because the kid is the type of guy who's looking for challenges. That guy is one guy who don't back down. He wants the challenges. He don't want no easy marks. He wants all the best fights, but he's an avoided fighter. He's dangerous in there. He's like a ghost. You can't hit him. You think he's there, then he disappears on you, right in your face. Everybody say he's a runner, but he really ain't. He just he moves just an inch, half an inch out the way where you're missing. Huh? Well, you miss him, and then he hit you with something. Oh, you'd be like, God damn, I thought he was gone, until he pop you upside the head. You know what I mean? And almost like ghosts. You hear me? You can't see him, but he knocking you all around that thing. So shout out to my boy Shakur Stevenson, man. Taking over the mantle, probably be the best in the world, because, defense wins fights. And I think he's the most defensive fighter out there. He's the best defense. He's a wizard out there, and he's not getting a lot of credit for his defensive abilities. You know what I mean? Because boxing is a sport of hit and not get hit. But, like I say, with his talent, with his speed, and he can definitely let his hands go a little bit more and use his athleticism, to entertain a little bit more, which he showed his last fight. I want to say this. I want to say, nobody has really gotten Shakur out of first gear for real. When I watch Shakur Stevenson now, like it's like he almost like in the sparring session. Nobody can really challenge that kid. He's not been challenged yet. So nobody has never made him uncomfortable or go to a different level. He's almost like on autopilot out there. So, that got to be said in itself, because he's beaten world champions. These guys that he beat are good fighters, and it's not too many great fighters out there in the world right now, but it's been good fighters. And the guys that could be great or seem to be on that path, they won't fight him. He can't melt them niggas down and pour them on him. Huh? You heard me? He can't melt them down and pour him on him. Okay? So like I say, shout out to Shakur Stevenson. Shout out to us, T.O. for stepping up, for accepting the fight. He didn't have nowhere to go for real. And I think, Shakur Stevenson, is a more high profile fight than anybody at 140. You got Matias, who won a close fight against Puello, and they all really good fighters. You got Gary Russell Jr., who's got a following, and not too bad. And Richard Hitchison, they got a little followers, but I think Shakur is the more high profile fighter of those guys, and I think T.O. is the most high profile fighter in that division. And so, why not make a super fight between those guys? Can't wait to see those guys fight. Shout out to my boy Ray Savage. You see him out there working with Jake Paul. Can't wait to see Ray Savage go up. He's top ranked in the WBA. Don't know what Lamont Roach gonna do. He's fighting. Got Roach going up against Cruz and moving up to 140. Roach is really feeling himself. Don't know if he can make 30 no more, but that'd be a good fight to go back down and fight Savage for the 30-pound title, depending on how that go. But shout out to my boy Ray Savage. You know what I'm saying? Looking to fight when the turn of the year come up. Should be fighting for the title soon. And man, there's some good things going on, man. Hey, it's some good things going on. You ain't blood. All right. Bernie, what you think? B. Norman stops Dev? I think if he do win, that's the way it's gonna happen. But then again, kind of Ryan Garcia kind of beat on him. But I think Brian Norman is more athletic, if you could say, and I think he hits harder than Ryan Garcia. And I think he has a better arsenal than Ryan Garcia, a better punch selection than Ryan Garcia. So if I could say if he wins, it would be a stoppage. But like I say, you never know. Devin is in tremendous shape. He has a big chip on his shoulder. He has a ton of experience. And anyway, he's motivated. He's got a fire lit up under him. So he's trying to prove people wrong, But then, like I say, so it's spontaneous combustion because you got Brian Norman who believes in himself and just trying to solidify himself, So you got a lot of stake in this fight. And like I say, that's why I believe it's the most sought after fight coming up on the 22nd. Keep talking shit. Bud gonna give him that work. Okay, Bud is boxing history. Yes, he is. Tank got the WBO, says Mill City. Of course. Thank you for helping me out with that. He says, hey, Bernie, people be sleeping on that man. Janabek, he around my top 5 too. Some people don't think he that. Like I say, once I seen him struggle against Denzel Bentley, and I haven't seen him look spectacular, I know he's good, but maybe it takes something more to bring out better in Janabek. So, I think he looks crazy. He looks like the way he looks like a psychopath. But as far as the way he fight, I'm not that impressed with Janabek. True story. Rob the Barbarian. Tell him again. Bernie was in Nam. Come on, man. I ain't got to prove nothing to nobody, man. I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody. Lonnie Poindexter said, hoping Dev gets stronger at 147. Like I say, I wouldn't. Hey, they said Mayweather can't punch, but he got enough to keep you honest. And that boy looked like an action figure. Devin Haney looked like an action figure. Whoever got that man in shape, that boy looked like he in shape. Looked like he been to straight boot camp, boy. Straight boot camp. Brian Norman too, though. Them boys look like they in top shape. Oh my God, I'm telling you, they're gonna. I don't know who gonna steal the show on the 22nd, but we in for a treat as boxing fans. Mill eat cigar lounge smoke him in a fight. I don't know what he talking about. Hit the like button for my guy. Okay, shout out to Mill City. Man, I can't wait for this one. 50-50. Devin, not the same when he got cheated by Ryan. Well, like I say, but you never been in the ring. Never been in the ring. And I won't say that because you seen how Miguel Cotto came back. Tremendous comeback. And I think Margarito had his hands messed up in that first fight. Nobody never looked as grotesque as he did in that fight. I think definitely Margarito cheated in that first fight with Cotto. Definitely. Because Cotto was winning the fight. It was almost like Meldick Taylor and Chavez. True story. And I think Chavez had his hands tainted in that fight. True story. I think Chavez had his hands tainted in that fight. Meldick Taylor was winning that fight, but he was looking worse for wear. Cotto was winning that fight the whole time, but he was looking the worse for wear. I think they both had their hands doctored up in that fight, and Margarito ought to be ashamed of himself. But he did come back. Cotto did come back, won a couple titles, had some great fights, and he ended got his revenge. So shout out to Cotto, who was at the convention. Great chance to meet him again, So it was a beautiful time. And like I say, but he can come back. So I'm not putting Devin out in that. And with the adversity that he's been through, with the mental fortitude that he's built up, I wouldn't put it past him. So he might go out there and put on a brilliant performance against Brian Norman, and I got to give him all the credit in the world. If you go out there and put on a brilliant performance against Brian Norman, I got to give him his credit, and I'd be a fan of Devin Haney. Now, do I like the way he fight? No, but I respect him. Let me say that. I respect him. Okay, so I don't have to be a fan of watching him fight, but I respect him. Shout out to Devin Haney and Papa Bill. Okay. He says 10 most skilled boxers. 1, we got Bud. 2, we got Usyk. 3, we got Inoue. 4, we got Bivol. 5, we got Shakur. 6, we got Janabek. 7, we got Bam. 7, we got Bam. 8, we got Oscar Collazo. 9, we got Boost. 10, we got Better Beef. Now, the problem with that one is that I think Bam is definitely way more skilled than motherfucking Janabek. I think Shakur is more skilled than Inoue, even though he knocks people out. I think he's more skilled than Bivol. Okay, so I would put them guys over Inoue and Bivol. But I think Inoue is good, but I think Bam probably 3 for real. With the angles that he do, the punch selection that he do, the way he be stopping guys, I'm putting Bam 3. But you know what I'm saying? A good list. The Nigerian Nightmare says, you look like Cat Williams. Who looked like Cat Williams? YK the Truth says, Bud hopped on a rocket. Yes, he did. On the Saturn, says the kid. Fornia Baby says, morning, champ. Appreciate you. Bam needs to fight somebody. Otherwise, good list. Damn, Bam, he fighting everybody. I can't take nothing away from Bam. Bam should have been pulled up on Inoue. Nah, Bam, I think his best weight is 115 pounds. I would say 118 maybe, but I think his best weight is 15. And back when guys used to stay at their weight and dominate their weight class, let's make that great again. Ain't nothing wrong with holding down the fort. Okay? He's already moved up 3 times. And shout out to him because he really was the top contender for the 108-pound title, but he skipped up 2 weight class to 115 for the veteran in Quadras, who was a world champion a couple times in 2 different weights, and he beat the stew out of him and beat the rest of the guys that was up there, and he to continue. He fought a guy that a young tough guy and kind of struggled a little bit, didn't look as good, but when they put him in there with a good guy like Sonny Edwards, he destroyed him. When he went in there with this last guy, he destroyed him. So shout out to Bam, man. Can't hate on Bam. Bam is a bad dude. No, nothing about Bam. Don't talk bad about Bam. He's a bad dude. He's a humble guy. He's a quiet guy, but when he get in that ring, he's ferocious. Okay. Loma gave up the 12th for he sure won. Don't know. I still thought he won the fight. I'm mad Shakur trying to move up to 140. Haven't done nothing at 35. He can't get nobody at 35. Come on now. Keyshawn gave up the title and they partners. They wasn't going to fight. I still want to put Andy Cruz still, on training wheels. They taking him off against Morataya. Tank would never get near him. So what else he going to do? So you can't say, fight going up against Teofimo, who's the lineal champion and WBO champ. How you going to knock that? That's just come on, man. Be realistic. Come on now. How you gonna knock that? You feel me? And he got the body to go back down to 35. So let's just see how the shit play out. But you gotta commend him. He's going for the lineal title, which he already was a lineal champion at 130 pounds. He was the WBC champ, WBO champ, and the Ring Magazine champ. So he already got a lineal title and he's going for a second one. He's going to be great. Don't knock the kid. Okay. All right. So we got a minute 18. Boy, that boy been going. He said they called him Motor Mouth Jones. Said that boy won't shut up. All right. Lon was, what'd he say? You crazy, Lon. Loma was closing the diss on Haney in the first round. Okay. So I got so many comments. Appreciate everybody. I got Cooking with CSR, with CER. I got Roe. I got, you know what I mean? Mass Men. Devin did not get wobbled in the Loma fight. What round you remember that happened in? The 9th. He was on his ass. No, he didn't buckle, but he was shook up in that round. Boy, go watch the fight, man. Come on. Go watch the fight, boy. Boy, it damn near stopped him in that round, if I'm not mistaken. All right. Dev is a masterclass boxer, and Brian Norman is looking super too. All right, Chris Lay, appreciate you. All right. So listen, I got so much comments. I can't give them all. I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. It's been a whole hour. You know what I'm saying? Over an hour. You know what I mean? But like again, I appreciate everybody in the chat, man. Staying with the kid. You can catch this on the run back. Shout out to my boy Steve Penn for my wonderful introduction song, which you seen on my story. If you like the song, it's a nice tune. You know what I'm saying? You can catch it on iTunes. You can catch it at YouTube Music. You know what I mean? You can add it to your story. You know what I'm saying? It's called Boxing Talk by Steve Penn, my boy down there in ATL, Georgia. Said the boy got his own song. You hear me? Okay. And shout out to the whole crew, man. Everybody down at B&B Boxing Academy. Shout out to the guys one more time up there doing great works over there with Eubank. We coming home with the victory. And man, until next time, man. Shit, catch me on Mill City. I'll be going up with Mill City soon. Catch me at Mill City. And just like that, man, I said, I'm gone. I said, I'm gone. I'm gone.